The Day in Tech History is sponsored by CashFly over at CACHEFLY.com, where you can host your podcast and get a 14-day free trial.
Jeffrey Powers here. I welcome you to the Day in Tech History, a full rundown of technology history 7 days a week. Subscribe to the show via iTunes, Stitcher, or download right from dayintechhistory.com. Now let's find out what happened on this day, your day in tech history.
December 12th. 1903 is where we're starting. The American Multigraph Sales Company of Cleveland, Ohio, begins manufacturing the multigraph duplicating machine, the first commercially successful device to simplify the printing process. He was invented by Harry Grammatere, who was a typewriter salesman. In 1955, the Orbitz guy, he's correct. It's a hovercraft. Christopher Cockerell, who was the inventor of the hovercraft, files for his patent for the hovercraft. 1957, the General Electric Company announces the creation of Borazon, which is a boron nitrate allotrope harder than diamond. It could resist heat on more temperatures greater than 1800 Celsius or 3300 Fahrenheit under 7 GPa of pressure. In 1961, Oscar 1, which is the first satellite in orbit built by private citizens, is launched on a Thor Agena rocket from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. 1968, over-the-air subscription television, or pay TV, is formally adopted by the Federal Communications Commission. 1980, Apple Computer becomes a publicly held company, selling 4.6 million shares at $22 a share with the stock symbol AAPL, and the NASDAQ market, that is. The shares sell out immediately, and by the end of the day, the stock would increase in value to almost 32%, closer to $29 a share, which gave the company $1.778 billion. Also in 1980, oil tycoon Armand Hammer purchases 36 sheets manuscript Codex Leicester by Leonardo da Vinci at an auction in Christie's in London. He paid about $5.28 million, which was the highest price ever paid for manuscript. And the United States Congress amends the Copyright Act to extend federal copyright protection to computer programs in the same manner as literary works. 1983, Dalos Dalos, which is the first ever anime original video animation, is released. 1984, the original hard drive for FidoNet number 1, the computer of Fido founder Tom Jennings, suffers a catastrophic failure, leaving the BBS running on 2 floppy drives. 1988, Atari Games files a lawsuit against Nintendo in U.S. District Court, claiming Nintendo had used monopolistic and exclusionary business practices by placing security chips in Nintendo Entertainment Systems and game cartridges. 1995, a ceremony is held in Thailand at which monks pray for the success of a new Texas Instruments computer chip plant that would be built there. In 1997, NEC Home Electronics releases Oh My Goddess for the NEC PC FX. 1998, the webmaster for the Atari Historical Society website, Kurt Vendel, receives a letter from Nolan Bushnell praising him for his dedication and work maintaining the Atari Historical Society website. Bushnell writes, he says, in many ways, it's like a family album.
If you love the Day in Tech History, then I encourage you to join my Patreon movement over at patreon.com/geekazine. Your contribution keeps the lights on and more Day in Tech History episodes available. Pledge as little as $1 a month or $12 a year for 365 days of podcasts. Add to that all the content from geekazine.com, morninggeeks.com, and other shows that I produce. That's over at patreon.com geekazine. Now let's get back into your day in tech history.
In 2000, AOL announces that it's achieved 26 million subscribers worldwide. Also in 2000, Intel reveals that it has created the smallest and fastest complementary metal oxide semiconductor transistor as to date, 30 nanometers at 3 atomic layers thick. 2001, AMD released the 1600 MHz Athlon MP1900 Plus processor, featured a 256 kilobit level 2 cache and 266 MHz front-side bus. 2004, Sony Computer Entertainment released the PlayStation Portable handheld video game system in Japan, featured a 333 MHz MIPS R4000 CPU, memory stick port, USB port, universal media disk drive, 4.3 inch 16:9 ratio display, Wi-Fi wireless connectivity, and a whole bunch more for 26,040 yen, including tax, which came to about $245. 2006, AMD released the 2800 MHz Athlon X64X2 5400 Plus F3 processor, and the 2800 MHz Athlon X2 5600 Plus F3 processor. Also in 2006, Red Hat begins trading on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol RHT. And version 2.3 of TorrentFlux, which is a multi-user graphical user interface for BitTornado, is released. 2008, Nortel faces delisting after being below $1 a share. And Gmail gets PDF viewer option inside the mail. And in 2010, the website and backend databases of Gawker.com was published on the Pirate Bay. It included source code, employee messages, usernames, and passwords of about 1.3 million users, email addresses, and more. And that's your Day in Tech History for December 12th. My name is Jeffrey Powers, www.dayintechhistory.com. You can check out all the show notes on the wiki page, and of course, you can follow me on Twitter over at DayInTechHist. Until tomorrow, take care. And that's your Day in Tech History. My name is Jeffrey Powers, www.dayintechhistory.com. All the show notes are over at wikizine.com, Geekazine's wiki. And of course, you can like the Facebook page and follow Twitter at DayInTechHist. Until tomorrow, take care. Day in Tech History is copyright 2015, JMP Enterprise and Geekazine.com.